What's up, y'all? So, we're going to talk about something very, very, very important and interesting today. We're going to talk about Jay-Z and whether or not Jay-Z has performed the culture's biggest grift. And what I mean by that is Jay-Z partnered up with the NFL around 4 years ago. He was supposed to be taking the baton from Colin Kaepernick and moving the conversation forward, moving the culture forward, bringing or highlighting some of these issues that Colin Kaepernick had brought to light. Jay-Z in his partnership with the NFL said, "We're done kneeling. Now we're gonna go to things that involve more action." And 4 years later, it ain't there. I don't see it. Maybe you guys do, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about whether or not Jay-Z has performed the culture's biggest grift. I'll see you guys in a second. What's up, y'all? This is Reggie White, aka Bullet, aka Speed and Bullet, and this is Speed and Bullet Podcast channel. Don't forget to like if you like these types of videos. You want us to keep this thing going. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing gives you quick access to anytime that we drop new materials, anytime that we go live, you'll be notified. Don't forget to comment on the videos, comment on the channel. Let us know you're there. Let us know what city, state, country that you're commenting from, and let your voice be heard. Answer some of these questions that we have on some of these topics. And last, don't forget to share this video, share this channel, share any of these contents with people that you think might find some interest in some of these conversations that we are having. So we're gonna jump right into this one. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, ever since the end of the Super Bowl. I was thinking about some things, and what I want to talk about is the potential grift of Jay-Z and whether or not Jay-Z has actually performed and gotten away with the largest grift in the history of black people. So I'll explain. But also, if this is a grift, why has Jay-Z not been called out for this grift? There has been, people who large amounts of black people feel like are grifters. People like Candace Owens, people like Dr. Umar Johnson, and other people, folks like Tim Scott, cultural grifters, but people who have used certain positions, their positions within the African American community, to be able to enrich themselves. We'll call out certain people, but if we determine that Jay-Z has performed a grift, why is it that a lot of people have not called him out on this? So we're gonna break down, some of the reasons why, the whole Jay-Z and the NFL thing can and should be considered a grift, and also some reasons why it may not be considered a grift. So let's jump right in there. Nearly, I would say, 4 years ago, Rock Nation, they entered into an agreement with the NFL to take over the production of the Super Bowl and some of the NFL's other events. And what was interesting is during this time, Jay-Z had a press conference, and what he said at this press conference was, and he was asked specifically about Colin Kaepernick and the battle and the struggle that Colin Kaepernick had with the NFL, but also his stance on police brutality and how Colin Kaepernick really took the fall just for standing up for what he believed, the nonviolent protests, taking a knee, and how much it costed Colin Kaepernick. So fast forward to this press conference, and Jay-Z was asked about Colin Kaepernick and about him being blackballed, and his protests, and him taking a knee. And Jay-Z famously said that he felt like that part was over. He specifically was like, we're done kneeling. It's time to move forward into something that's a little more, something that involves a little more action than kneeling. But what's interesting is that immediately I kind of felt, and I thought that was just a bit odd, to kind of hijack or to give cover to the NFL by partnering with them at that moment just seemed a bit weird to me. And it was kind of like, it was like startling, to see the news, because Jay-Z had prided himself on just being just like an anti-corporate rapper, who in itself was, had supported the protests and had been a part of protests in his own right. I think in '99 he had boycotted the Grammys because of DMX kind of being ignored. I think I remember, I think in maybe like 2006, Jay-Z started the protest against Cristal because some of I think their CEO or something said some remarks about the champagne not being something that was for, black people or for urban people. So Jay-Z, who had been screaming Cristal for forever, took a stance against them. But also, Jay-Z has always been known for like just spitting like socially conscious lyrics in his raps. He even rapped, my president is black. He's always just kind of been what we consider like a man of the people. And I even think about, he wore a custom Kaepernick jersey during his appearance on Saturday Night Live in, I think, 2017. He also had pretty much told the NFL that he was not going to participate in their halftime show, pretty much telling them to kick rocks. I think that was in 2017. So and he rapped about it on a Beyonce song. I think he said something to the effect of, I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you. Every night we in the end zone. Tell the NFL we in stadiums too. So really taking a shot that he didn't need the NFL, could sell out stadiums without them. That this was a worthy cause that was going to continue. So it was just interesting, to see that Jay-Z would partner with with the NFL, and that in a sense gave cover to the NFL to be able to kind of silence the protest that was happening, and to give them a way to say that we are moving on. But I felt immediately like it was just, I just did not feel good about it. I didn't feel good about it. It seemed to me like, just to be honest, like, a person like Jay-Z who like prided himself on like, making money, just outside of, dealing with the law. And it's like, to me, it's like he sided with the ops, and that, and that's how I felt immediately when it happened. But like all things, you want to give things some time and to see how things materialize and to see where it goes from there. But it was clear that this was a win for the NFL. I mean, people started to not pay attention. People started to, not really give that much press and that much protest. The protests, they started to slow down just after this partnership with Jay-Z. But like I said, I just think the whole thing was just interesting to me. But I think we also was trying to figure out what would it look like moving forward. We knew what it looked like when Colin Kaepernick was the face of this movement. We knew what the goals were. We knew what were some of the things that we needed to deliver on. And I just thought it was just kind of like interesting that, making a halftime show, it's not to me, that doesn't move the needle at all. And that's considered that black people, we've always been in the forefront of entertainment. So, we've had black people play at the Super Bowl, so that's nothing new. Black people have always performed at sporting events. That doesn't mean that, it just didn't have anything to do with what the purpose of this particular protest was, which was against, police police brutality, but also this against the blackballing, the specific blackballing of Colin Kaepernick for someone who was just standing up for what everyone should be standing up for. But what it turned into was, the NFL kind of used Jay-Z so they can get kind of like guilt-free access to the black audience again, the black culture and the black influence and entertainers. We no longer heard anything else about Colin Kaepernick, about protests, about police brutality. It was almost like this deal with the NFL just kind of like silenced a lot of those critiques that people had. I heard a lot of people were protesting the NFL. They were just against a lot of the policies and just the treatment, from the NFL to Colin Kaepernick. But I think that even then, some people, they immediately called Jay-Z a sellout. They immediately said Jay-Z was a grifter, a sellout. And one of the things that I thought about was, if Jay-Z sold out, what did he gain by selling out? Did he gain some imaginary access that he didn't have before? Was there some type of promise about being transitioning into an owner? If he did sell out, was it just for a check, or was it something bigger than that? And it's Jay-Z didn't really need the money. Obviously, Jay-Z didn't need the money. So what exactly did he get out of this partnership? And like I said, the NFL, what they got was a clean slate. They got people to not have such a critical voice towards them. A lot of people just follow Jay-Z. They just felt like Jay-Z is the person that would push the culture forward. So they didn't really engage in the type of questioning of why is he doing this. But 4 years later, it's still just unclear. What was the purpose of all this? Besides it being just a way to shut down the protests and to shut down, Colin Kaepernick's fight towards police, against police brutality. I did some light research, and I saw that, the NFL, they have continued to give money to, to some social justice platforms, to some social change organizations. I think one is called Inspire Change is the biggest one. But when you look at the amount of money, the NFL has pretty much given what's equivalent to tax write-offs, to probably the most lucrative sports industry in the world. So while money is essential to any cause, it's a hollow gesture, if it's just a check and nothing, nothing more behind it. It's kind of like a rich dad that sends kids a check every month. That's not actually parenting or changing the culture or changing the environment. I haven't heard of the NFL backing progressive candidates. I haven't heard of the NFL pushing towards any policies or supporting any laws that would benefit minorities, that would benefit the push towards getting rid of police brutality and creating avenues for police accountability. Haven't heard or seen the NFL pushing any of these causes or supporting people, publicly supporting people who are pushing some of these more progressive agendas. I haven't seen, I just haven't seen it from the NFL, which is interesting, because the NFL has always been plagued with race issues. It's always been considered, especially in NFL ownership, a club for rich white guys. Almost all of the owners are white. Almost all of the owners are male. Almost all of the owners are Republicans. And what's interesting is obviously 70% or more of the players are black. So, so it's always been issues with the NFL and race. It's been issues with the NFL having no minority owners, or very limited minority owners. But also when we start getting into the coaching ranks, you start getting into the process that coaches are chosen. The NFL does not have a really great record in its relations to race. So just since this merger with Rockefeller, which came on the heels of social justice and social reform, there's really been little in a way that I've seen of actionable items. It's unclear if the partnerships would inspire change. Is something that would have continued with or without Jay-Z. It still seems odd that something that started off as a cultural movement became just a financial movement for Jay-Z and other other people that were involved in the merger. But it's still kind of it just doesn't really make much sense. So I'm having a hard time understanding why Jay-Z choose to take this route. It didn't seem like Jay-Z needed the NFL. It seemed like the NFL needed Jay-Z. They needed Jay-Z to legitimize themselves, in order to gain access and to gain favor, through the black community and the black culture and what it represents. So if you're gonna ask me, was this a simple grift on the part of Jay-Z? I think that two things can be right at the same time. Jay-Z could have or can be performing a grift, but also Jay-Z could be just a useful idiot. Idiot in the sense of not really understanding what this merger did and how this merger actually silenced the protests that was going on and legitimized what the NFL was doing at that moment, and then moving forward. When you think of what has transpired in the last 4 years, and you think about what we were expecting, and I think that just us as the general public, we were expecting when Jay-Z said that we were done kneeling and it's time for some actions, that there would be some actions moving forward, some tangible things that we can look to, things that we could see and feel and understand, and not have to search and look through the weeds to try to find some connection. That it was clear when Colin Kaepernick was on the scene. It was clear what the goal was. It was clear what the messaging was. It was absolutely clear. You did not have to search for it. You did not have to guess. You did not have to squint your eyes to try to see where these changes or where these demands would come from. So even now, we can look at this merger and think of it in a sense of it not having the political effect that even Colin Kaepernick's protests created. It created conversation. It created real movement. It actually changed laws. It actually got laws on the books and funding and partnerships with Black Lives Matter to be able to get body cams and in different cities, and body cams are really considered the norm now in law enforcement, and that you can attribute that directly to to Colin Kaepernick and his push just towards police accountability. But what do you see? What do you see in the sense of what has happened since then? So I'm gonna ask the group: do you feel like Jay-Z performed just a major grift on the culture? by partnering with the NFL. And in case you don't know, I mean, a grift is pretty much just someone that kind of sells out, just for a paycheck, for a dollar. They sell out. They compromise even themselves or their community or their culture, strictly for a check. And 4 years later, what do we see as being some tangible evidence that instead of kneeling, like Jay-Z said, instead of kneeling, that it was time to stand, and it was time to have some some action outside of kneeling, like some tangible action. Where are the actions at? Where are the tangible where are the tangible things that we're supposed to have gotten from this merger? All we've gotten is great halftime shows, great memories of these halftime shows, but what part of the culture has been moved because of this? And the reason why I personally would say that Jay-Z has performed the culture's biggest grift. I mean, he absolutely has, and mostly because what he said he was gonna do and what he implied that he was gonna do, what was not fulfilled, to even the smallest degree. It was not fulfilled. There hasn't been a political push towards candidates that push a more progressive agenda. There hasn't been what I would consider a major financial commitment, from the NFL. It hasn't been obviously the type of energy and type of conversations that Colin Kaepernick's protests created. This has not done anything to move that forward. This has only really silenced that movement and just made the NFL appear to be now moving in the right direction. But that direction looks and feels like it's just no direction. It doesn't appear that anything has really changed as a result of this merger. So I'm gonna say Jay-Z has absolutely performed one of, if not the greatest grift of the culture, of the black culture and the black community that I've ever seen. To walk in on the heels of Colin Kaepernick's social justice movement, a social justice platform, to walk in on the heels of that, and to produce, and to imply that we're gonna move this thing forward, but to not have produced anything that's moved this forward, to me qualifies that as a grift. Now, there are going to be some folks who are going to absolutely disagree with this, and I welcome the conversation towards people who don't feel as though that this was a grift, that feel as though there have been some legitimate ventures, some legitimate things that have been supported as a result of this merger. I'm free to discuss these things. I'm free to be taught some things about maybe some, maybe there are some foundations, some things that Jay-Z has been involved in as a result of this merger. And I'm talking specifically as a result of this merger, because Jay-Z's always been involved in what we would consider a social justice platform. Jay-Z, I think he produced Trayvon Martin. I believe it was a documentary that that Jay-Z produced. So Jay-Z in his own right has definitely been someone that has made attempts to push the culture forward, to talk about some some things in our community that have been uncomfortable, that Jay-Z has put some of these things out. But I'm talking specifically about this merger. And the reason why I'm specifically talking about this merger is what this merger did to the Colin Kaepernick movement. What it did was it really silenced that movement to start or to bring focus on what we thought was going to be a continuation of that movement, with what we thought that this partnership with Jay-Z was going to produce, that it was going to push this, push these important topics and conversations, to push these more to the mainstream, to take that proverbial battalion and to run with it. And I haven't seen any evidence to make me believe that has happened in the last 4 years, or that is gonna happen ever. 4 years is a lot of time to be able to have some tangible results. So if you are someone that does not agree with this, that you think that this merger has helped and assisted the black community, or specifically has helped in pushing just pushing the narrative further, from the start of it, from Black Lives Matter, from Colin Kaepernick. If you feel like this is an extension of it and maybe I'm missing something, please by all means comment. Let me know what I'm missing. But I'm gonna say I feel like Jay-Z has absolutely, definitely performed a very, very, very deep and dangerous grift, to the black community. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that question. Don't forget to like, if you like these types of videos, you want us to keep this thing going, keep these types of conversations, don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Let us know how you feel about these topics. Let us know how you feel, in the comment section. Don't forget to leave your city, state, or country. You want to see how far this thing has been reaching out. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing gives you notifications whenever we go online. You'll be notified whenever we drop new material, whenever we go live. Don't hesitate to subscribe. And also, lastly, don't hesitate to share. If you like this type of conversation, you're thinking that somebody else might want to jump in here, someone else might think that these types of conversations are interesting, don't hesitate to share it with your friends, your family, anybody that you think might want to be a part of this type of conversation. So I'm going to leave you guys at that. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.